We, the Nature's Eye, powered by Wildlife Arc, is a group of nature enthusiasts who wish to share our knowledge and experience with the world. We strive to bring information and educational content from the tiny living world to the city dwellers. Our motto is empowering environmentalists everywhere, aims to create opportunities for young environmentalists and people related to this field through our various programs. This workshop is one such, and our upcoming event is on collaboration with Madras Crocodile Bank Trust. You will perceive a virtual tour to MCBT and learn a lot about amphibians and reptile habitats. You will get to visit it virtually and get to clear your doubts as well. You will be guided by Miss Steffi John. You will also get a live demonstration of snake venom extraction from MCBT itself. MCBT is the only authorized organization in India to demonstrate live venom extraction. So stay tuned to know more. Having said that, let me introduce you to the topic of this webinar. So we're going to speak about snake awareness, identification, and anatomy. And we have our guest speaker, Mr. Shoaib Ahmed, who will be delivering the presentation to you. I would like to thank him for agreeing to do this event on such a short notice. He is a self-taught wildlife rescuer and have been known to do ethical rescues from the past 17 years in Bangalore. He is authorized by the Forest Department and the BBMP Forest Cell to perform rescues all over Karnataka. Shoaib is going to his sister's house, as we all know, due to some emergency, and he will be doing this session while traveling. And guys, also one request, if you have any doubt and question during the presentation, kindly write it in the chat box and we'll have a short round of Q&A in the last 15 to 20 minutes to clear your doubts. So let's begin today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for introducing me. Yes, as our introducer rightly said, ethical rescues. That's exactly what I aim for, and I will aim for it for the rest of my life as long as I'm able to do rescues. Right. So let's start off with snakes and venom, which can kill. Yes, venom can kill, but it's the snakes which decide who they really want to kill, whether it's the rat which they want to eat or whether it's the human being who's troubling the snake for no reason. Next slide. So we have an approximate number of 304 species right now uh, in Bangalore in India. How many of them can actually kill you? How many of them are venomous? Any guesses? You can put it in the chat box. We can go to the next slide. Right. So this data is as of 2 years ago. So it says 297 species of snakes. So let's bring that number up to 304. And 231 venomous species, we can bring that up by 234 again. 66 venomous. These are the ones which are, I'm sorry, 231 are the non-venomous ones and 66 venomous ones is what was listed. 21 sea snakes. We will not be discussing much about sea snakes because we don't encounter them much. 41 rare or non-lethal snakes. I will tell you what is a rare or a non-lethal snake as we speak, and 4 dangerous snakes. Now, they are called the 4 dangerous or the big 4. Next slide, please. The big 4, as we see in the slide, first we have our spectacle cobra. Below that, we have a common krait. To the right of cobra, we have a Russell's viper, and then we have a saw-scale viper. The only reason why I have put them in this order, where you have spectacle cobra and common krait, the venom toxicity is, the type of venom is one and the same for these two, though the toxicity level varies. Russell viper and saw-scale viper again have the same kind of venom, again toxicity level varies. Next slide, please. Right. So commonly found venomous snakes in India in Bangalore. This is not only in Bangalore, this is all over India, which is why they are called as Big 4. So yes, it is a cobra that, but when it comes to cobra, we must specify that we find spectacle cobras on the southern side of India As we go towards the north, we find monocle cobras. Central, we find black cobras. I mean, these are spectacle cobras, but the marking is missing. Mostly towards Rajasthan, Gujarat, we find cobras which are completely black, where we don't have a marking on the hood. It's a little difficult to identify between a cobra and a rat snake in the central part of India, especially Rajasthan, because I was there in November and December, and I happened to rescue a spectacle cobra which is completely black. And then that was in Jaipur. And another friend of mine happened to send me a video of a rat snake which is jet black, and but that was in Bikaner, another region of Rajasthan. So yeah, different variations in the same species. Likewise, the venom toxicity also differs. So yeah, one is the cobra, as we said, and this next one is a common krait. We have quite a few subspecies in kraits. So just saying krait would not be right. I will also make sure that I change that on my slide. But
Funny
what we
snake
have
देखने?
in Bangalore are common kraits.
और यार बैठो, देखो स्नेक को बताते हैं, देखो हाँ सर, देखो मनी, देखो
Okay, so we have common kraits. Now, cobras and common kraits are known to grow up to 5 feet. Sometimes cobras are known to grow up to 7 to 8 feet, but that's a rare case scenario though. And then we also have Russell vipers. These are stout buggers, quite between them and pythons. Most people end up getting bitten by Russell vipers, thinking that it's thinking that it's a python, but then they end up going to the hospital and things get serious for them, and many people lose their lives. This is a very common scenario with Russell vipers. Now, saw scale vipers are not to be found as common as they used to be before in Bangalore. They, thanks to the massive urbanization that we have had in the couple of years, we have, they have actually lost their habitat, and they are not found as usual as we used to. But it's also one of the most common snake that you find all around India, and that's why they are called as the big four. There are other venomous snakes, but they are endemic to particular places, particular spots where you find them. uh, I'll just give you a small example of a snake called a hump nose pit viper. They are also, the scientific name for them is Hypnale hypnale. This snake is venomous enough to cause damage to your life because they have hemotoxic and cytotoxic venom. Until 1999, I think, or 1990, they were not even considered as a threat to life. But we found out very late that yes, they cause a lot of death. In fact, Sri Lanka as a country faces 35% of deaths because of hump-nose pit vipers. So yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is they are called big for the only reason because they are widespread. They're found all over India. Next slide, please. Spectacle cobras. Now, I have I must tell you how I got introduced to snakes, or most of us in India get introduced to snakes thanks to cobras. And that's exactly why. And after that, our knowledge kind of dwindles. We stop at cobras. We don't want to learn anything more. It's only because that's where our childhood has come from. Most of us who were born in the 80s or even before that, what do we see? We have seen so many people. We have seen these snake charmers come through with a snake in the bucket. Most often than not, it is always, or let's say 99%, they are always carrying a spectacle cobra. And do you know why they carry a spectacle cobra? It's because of the spectacle that it provides us human beings. We feel so good when we see a cobra hooding in front, and then this person is moving his hand or he's moving his flute in front, and the cobra is swaying to that. Well, basically, this cobra is very scared of life because it's gone through a lot of torture thanks to these snake charmers. They either defang the snake or they burn the venom glands, which is very, very painful to the snake. I'll tell you in the future slides what happens and what are the kind of tortures that these poor beings go through. Now, it's easy to identify cobras, especially because just like how we have our fingerprints, which are so different from each human being to human being, look at the beauty of cobras. Every spectacle cobra has a different spectacle marking behind. It is never the same in either of, you'll not find the same marking on a different spectacle cobra. They'll either be a minute change which will differentiate this one to that one. Can we just go to the next slide, please? This is a picture of 4 different spectacle cobras that I have rescued. Look at the very first one to my left, or to the left of the screen. Does it not look like nature smiling back at you? I mean, how beautiful could it actually get? This is something which fascinates me. Uh, just just the hood itself has so many variations, so many different what do you call it? Designs, you must say. The first one, it really looks like there are eyebrows, there are eyes, and then there's a very beautiful, smiley popping out. So that's one. You look at the second one, it's completely different. The third one, it's so faded, it's almost as if it's not there. And then the fourth one is again with 2 dots, and the U marking is going a little more deeper and stuff like that. So this is how, there are, cobras differ in the hood markings, and it makes us, it makes it easier for people who know snakes or understand snakes to differentiate whether or not we have rescued the snake before. We don't really need to, microchip a snake, especially in cobras. If it is the same person who's rescuing it, I'm sure we can figure it out just looking at the pictures of the hood, if we have taken one before, or if we can recognize it. I would want to tell you a small story. A couple of years ago, I had rescued a baby cobra, and this one had 2 exclamation marks instead of the hood. So it was a proper yellow line which went in the form of V, but it did not connect. So I called it a exclamation mark, and I released this little baby, which is probably about a month or 2 months old. I'm just saying by the size of it. I had released it in a very nice, habitat, which was suitable for it. About 1 year or 1.5 year later, this area had developed, and I got a rescue call from a house. I went to see the snake, and it was the exact same one. And would you believe that that fellow had grown to a length of about 4.5 feet? I mean, that was amazing for me, because so I took a picture of this. As soon as I saw the hood, it was like, oh my God, this is my baby. I just recognized it like that. So I took a picture of it. I went back to my hard disk and, pulled out the picture which I had taken before, because this was a rare looking hood. And then I checked the date. It was about 1.5 years. I'm not able to recall exactly, but yes, it was more than a year. Most often than not, you see cobras which are probably a year or 1.5 year old, which might have grown about 2 feet to 3 feet and stuff. But this one had grown up to 4 feet. That shows that you can't really speak about the age of a snake by looking at the size that it has grown. It totally depends on how much it eats, where where it's living, what kind of access it has for its food and stuff. So yeah, so there are some people, when some rescuers, when you speak to them, they are holding a snake in their hand, and they'll ask you, how old do you think the snake is? They'll just, they'll be very happy and proud to tell you, oh, this must be about 2 years, 3 years. No, don't believe them. Trust me, I would not believe. The only reason, because I've seen something like this happening with me. So that's the reason I would say, first of all, don't ask the age of the snake, because no one can figure it. But if you really have to, it's up to you. Next slide, please. Oh, the venom type of no, sorry. We'll speak about cobras a bit more. I think they are my favorite for now. We'll go back to the previous slide. I'm so sorry for the confusion. All right, so we'll talk about cobras and then speak about Russell vipers. So cobras, they have neurotoxic venom, which affects your nervous system, your breathing, your sight, your vision, and everything once you're bitten. But when I say you're bitten, doesn't mean that you're just, there are 2 types of bites. For those who don't know about snakes, I'll tell you there are 2 types of snakes bites that a snake would deliver. One is a wet bite, and one is a dry bite. Dry bites are generally given to tell you, or it's like a warning to let you know that you could die with this bite. Or it's basically the snake deciding not to waste its venom on a human being because it cannot devour a human being. It cannot eat a human being. That's one of the reasons why most snakes decide to give a dry bite, which means they hold their venom back, just penetrate the fangs into your body and let go. A wet bite would be something where the snake has actually delivered venom in your body. And there are methods for you to identify whether it is a dry bite or not. It's very simple. We will talk about it in the future slides. Russell's viper, one of my most favorite snakes. All viper family snakes are my favorite, but Russell vipers, I think, are so far my most favorite.
In car.
The way, sorry. Okay. It's mainly because of the way.
I request all the participants to please mute yourselves. Abhirami, Meenat.
Right. Thank you. So Russell vipers are my favorites mainly because of the way they look. They are so intimidating yet so beautiful. Look at the patches on the body, and also with Russell vipers, not all the Russell vipers will have the exact diamond shape, looking on the top of the body and the sides and stuff. There are variations in this. There are morphs. There are sometimes there's absolutely no marking on the snake at all. This is also been found in Mangalore, Puttur side of India. We have found Russell vipers which do not have a pattern on them. Maybe it's just specific to that area, or maybe it's just, I don't know. That's something that we have to probably study about and figure out why we find patchless Russell vipers in a particular area. But yes, Mangalore has been successfully showing us about 4 or 5 different patterns of Russell vipers so far. One of them is a very intriguing design where it starts with a line from the head and goes all the way till the tail. There's just one black line, a parallel line running through it. It looks even more beautiful. I wish we got to see more Russell vipers like that. Right. So Russell vipers, they have hemotoxic venom, which has the capability to break down tissue. This was designed, or this evolution of venom came to help the snake, get its food in regions which are much drier for, when compared to where you can find cobras and kraits. Russell vipers are found more towards a little bit of drier patches, and sometimes, or no, mostly towards paddy fields and stuff, because that's where rats and bandicoots are there, and that's their main source of food. So that's where you will generally find Russell vipers, and they're so well camouflaged in the dry leaves. My God, there have been times where we have stepped right beside them and walked around, but they haven't charged because they do not want to kill you. They are not there. None of these snakes are out there to get us human beings. They are out there to get what they are designed to get. Guys, I'm so sorry. I just have to take a quick call. I'm going to mute myself for a quick minute here.
Sohan, actually, we are facing an issue. We are trying to solve it out. I know your friends are trying to join in. As of now, the participation limit is 100 for Zoom. We are trying to go live on YouTube as well, because if the issue is resolved, of course, you'll be able to join it. Or else you can just take up your questions from your friends. We'll provide recording to everyone. Yeah, Shoaib, you can continue. I think you're on mute. Yes, we will send the recordings to all the registered mails. It is there on our YouTube channel as well. You can go and see after the session is over. We'll put it there. And of course, we hope Shoaib is fine. And just a second.
Unmute. Got it. Guys, I got it. Thank you. Thank you. I was unable to unmute myself. It was taking some time. Sorry about the technical glitch there.
Actually,
I'm back.
we are sorry from our side as well. Few participants, they were scribbling on the screen. So we had to
Okay.
log the meeting actually.
No worries. No worries. Makes sense. Okay. So let's continue. Sorry, that was a rescue call which was popping on my phone back to back, and I had to guide another rescuer to that place since I'm going elsewhere. Right, all said and done. Let's continue. So we were talking about Russell vipers and where they are generally found. So they are found all around India, as I had initially said, but mostly paddy fields and places where more rats accumulate because that's their main source of food. They grow up to a size of 5.5 feet. Sometimes they have been known to grow about 6.5 to 7 feet. Some records over photos, but I don't know if that is for real. But most people say that it is about 7 feet long. So I would still go by go with 5.5 feet because that's what I generally get to rescue. And these guys don't generally go up on trees and stuff. But if you're seeing pictures of Russell vipers sitting on a tree and someone's clicked a picture, guys, that's a very bad thing to do. For pictures, sometimes camera folks, who, photographers do some crazy things. I would say do it, but don't put a snake which doesn't go up a tree on the tree and then say, oh, I found it naturally over there. That's really hilarious for people who already know snakes. Anyways, so that's just a heads up for wannabe photographers or those who are into photography. Do not do such rookie mistakes. It's really not nice. Hemotoxic venom, something which can is capable enough of digesting your tissue. Basically it breaks down tissue, and that's what the venom is evolved to do. It helps this any venomous snake for that matter. The venom helps to break down the food before the snake can start eating it. Now we all know, or if we don't, let me there needs sun's heat to regulate every even to digest. But venom, it helps in pre-digestion. So when a snake bites it, let's say we're talking about a cobra which has bitten another cobra, or it's bitten another rat snake or another rat. What the venom does is it starts killing the animal or starts digesting the animal's body from inside even before the snake has swallowed it and started the main digestion functionality in the body. So that's why venom is very important for venomous snakes. We can go on to the next slide. Oh, just one more thing. Russell vipers are one of my favorites because, when they have to strike, they coil up, they sit in a round circle, and it comes out like a spring action. The energy shoots right from the tail tip and goes up to the tip of the body, and they literally spring out from where they are. One of the biggest reasons why this snake is never in the hands of a snake charmer. because they cannot show the snake off to people. It doesn't look so beautiful with a hooding over here and, waiting to strike at you or dance at you. No, this is just going to, puff down, become a little more fat, puff up, wait for you to get close enough and shoot at one shot, landing in precision almost every time. And yeah, their bite could be really, really painful because their fangs are pretty long when compared to a cobra's. I haven't measured them. I haven't checked how long they are in any of the books, but I know it's much longer than cobra's fang. That could be a very painful bite, friends. Right. So we'll go to the next slide, please. Right. So here we can see to the top right hand corner, we'll see doesn't have any markings at all. This was a snake which I have taken in 2011. I'm not really sure snake is still alive. I would hope for every snake to be alive. But yeah, that's completely pale without any markings. When you look to the left, that's a juvenile, and you can see how more dark this Russell Viper is when compared to the one which is right below that. That's more of an adult. You can also see the size of the head varies. It's very triangle in shape. It's impossible to miss the snake when you see it. Yeah, impossible to see it. I mean, impossible to miss it when you see it. Sorry, that's a very funny sentence. It's impossible to miss any snake when you see it. But what I'm trying to tell you is, it's impossible to not know that you're looking at a Russell Viper if you can just understand how the snake looks. White lips, triangle head, and the easiest way to identify this one is by the way it gives out the warning message. It hisses out like a prestige cooker. I'm sure you guys have heard how a prestige cooker goes out at your home. Check on YouTube for a couple of videos as to how a Russell Viper is hissing, and you will see the sound. It's probably a little bit more than what your prestige cooker will do at your home. But it's amazing the way it puffs its body up and just goes, and it's pretty long. It's pretty long. Imagine the lung size for a snake, even if it is a baby. Wow, man, they just surprise me no matter when it is. Yeah, I can go on with Russell Vipers till tomorrow morning. So we'll go to the next slide. One of my favorite, snake species are vipers always. We'll go to the next slide now. This is how Russell Viper would look from below. Not everyone will get a chance to see this because they're always on the ground. Again, the big four that we are talking about, apart from the cobras, all the other three are mainly terrestrial snakes. Even a cobra is mainly terrestrial, but sometimes they choose to be arboreal. They are pretty good on trees, but otherwise, Russell Vipers, kraits, saw-scale vipers, you don't generally see them on trees. But having said that, guys, I would tell you one thing always: nature never ceases to surprise you. There are juveniles which can surprise you because of the simple fact that they're not as heavy as the adults are, they're not as stout as the adults are, and still they can manage to go through some very crazy spots, and they will surprise you with the kind of places they are spotted in. One of my friends who rescued a saw-scale viper somewhere towards Goa mentioned that he saw a saw-scale viper which was up the top, very close to the roof of the hall. How did that happen? This was a poor man's house. It was a brick house, brick wall. So it's taken good support in the edge and it's gone up, and it was somehow sitting over there. So yeah, we'll go to the next slide. Now, this is a baby Russell Viper, or generally what we call it as snakelets. If you see the picture a little close, do you see there's a small piece of flesh? There's something reddish, right? A little before the tail. If you guys see that spot, yeah, that's the one which is being pointed out. Do you know what that is? That's an umbilical cord. That's the place where the mother's placenta is connected to the babies. So what I'm trying to tell you is not all snakes lay eggs. Vipers mostly give birth to live babies, and Russell vipers are known to give birth to a huge number of babies. Generally, it's about 70 to 80, but there have been records where they have given birth to about 100 and odd babies. It's it's an amazing sight to see, any mother give birth to its little ones. But unfortunately, when this mother gives birth to its babies, and if someone happens to see it, people forget that they are humans. People forget that there is a life which is coming out. I've seen cases where people have just thrown petrol and burnt them because it's Russell vipers. There's a weird myth about Russell vipers that they can, your body will start uh, decaying the moment the snake will breathe on you, or if you come anywhere close to the breath of the snake. Guys, the only thing I would say is, how many Russell vipers are not living around us? There are so many. They are breathing just like how we are breathing. If that was true, we all would have. I mean, I don't think we would have. I would be speaking about this. My generation, human beings would have gone long back without even the snake having to do anything literally directly. So yeah, that's a myth. Yes, we have a lot of snake species who give birth to live babies. We will talk a bit more about what snake does what for babies in future in the next coming slides. But yeah, that red spot that you see is basically from the placenta, which is from the umbilical cord, sorry, which gets disconnected at the time of birth, and that stays there for about a couple of days or months, maybe 1 or 2 months, and that's gone after that. Yeah, next slide, please. Also, Russell viper babies, they also hiss, they also go like prestige cookers, but they're not really like prestige cookers, but you can say they're like the tiny prestige cooker. They just go when you get close to them, but exactly like how an adult would do. There's no change whatsoever in it, but they are damn more, they are probably 100 times more cuter to all of us who love snakes. Right, so now we have a social viper. Wow, what a snake! What a snake! I would say that because for the size that it is, sometimes much smaller than that. Males are a little more smaller. Females are beautiful. They are a little more stout and a little longer when compared to males. Social vipers, guys, it's amazing the way this snake has adapted to the dry regions where it lives, and it literally goes to scorpions, man. Imagine that. It goes to scorpions. It prefers scorpions. That's their main diet, apart from the other things that they could latch their jaws onto, or their fangs onto. Jaws, we're not talking about sharks here. Soft tail vipers, hemotoxic venom, again, very easy identification. The head marking which you see, it almost looks like an arrow. Most of the soft tail vipers have that, but again, guys, when I am talking about identification of a snake, telling you that these are the patterns, what I'm trying to tell you is these are the patterns which are generally there. So let's say, when I say generally, it's about 90% of the time, 10% of the time. So, nature still wants to surprise you. So it gives out different morphs. Sometimes they are found in different colors. Like this one, it's more of a brown colored soft-tailed viper. You go towards north of India, like, somewhere towards Goa side and stuff, you'll find them almost pinkish. Almost pinkish. I wonder who put that lipstick on them, who put that paint on them. It's so beautiful, man. Seriously. Right. So same venom toxicity. I mean, sorry, the venom type is just like what we have in Russell vipers, hemotoxic venom, but this one's about 12 times to 16 times more toxic than a Russell viper. It's mainly because of the habitat where they are found in, also the kind of food that they need to hunt down. Since they live in a very, very dry region, their venom needs to act much faster. So the venom has evolved during the course of time to make it more toxic than a Russell viper's venom, right? And why is it called a saw scale viper? It could be called anything else, right? But no, every scale of this snake is keeled. Now, when I say keeled, it's basically a line which runs through the bottom of a boat. It helps the boats get through water easily. That, having said that, does not mean that vipers want to swim. They are not very water friendly. But having said that, every snake can swim much better than a human can ever imagine. Snakes don't generally drown unless it's a sea snake which has gone really deep for its food and it's not able to come back up to get a breath of fresh air. Then yeah, that poor thing can drown. So saw scale vipers, each scale is keeled and each scale is serrated at one particular point. So when this snake has to threaten anyone, for an example, if a human being, we get really close to it, and obviously we are not the first choice of prey for the snake. So what the snake is going to do is it is going to threaten you to the best of its capabilities to show you that it is very dangerous. It will start rubbing its scales against itself, as in the body starts rubbing, the snake starts rubbing its body against itself. The sound that is created, it is just as if you are using a saw on wood. The sound, I hope you can imagine. If not, you will have to look up for this on YouTube as well. So that's one of the reasons, or that's the main reason why it's called a saw scale viper. Also, these guys can move their fangs almost independently. So whenever you're handling them, if you have to handle them by holding their head, you got to be extra careful. Also, one of the species which is known to be a little bit more feisty when it comes. Okay, so when I say feisty, I'm talking about snakes being defensive. Guys, most of us tend to say that snakes are aggressive. That's an aggressive snake. It's it will bite you and stuff. No, snakes. Almost all animals are in defense is what they do, which is instinct. Aggression is in us. We human beings, we are the ones who aggravate things. We are the ones who get aggressive towards things. We get aggressive towards animals who don't understand what is right or wrong, and that right or wrong is set by us human beings. Again, for animals, it's just instinct, right? So again, saw scale vipers also give birth to live babies. I haven't seen one, but they are about 10 centimeters big. Oh God, I really want to see one someday. I hope to God that I get to see one. If maybe taking birth, that would be even more better. But yeah, this one for sure I haven't seen, and I'm waiting to see one someday. Am I missing anything out on saw scale? Oh, saw scale vipers, yes, Rajasthan. Guys, I don't understand what's about Rajasthan and saw scale vipers. Over there, over there, saw scale vipers grow up to almost about a meter in length, if I'm not wrong. That's huge. That's a huge saw scale viper. That's almost like half the size of a Russell viper, but not the same girth. It's much smaller in girth wise, probably about 2 fingers thick. That's still quite a big saw scale viper, man. I've seen it in photos. I've seen it in videos. I had been to Rajasthan a couple of months ago, but just in the wrong season. Couldn't find one. This is the season I should have been there, but hopefully I'll try and go down before the summer vanishes to find one of these guys over there. So we'll go to the next slide, please. That's the head picture. That's how the head looks. The marking which I was telling you, the arrow mark. That's exactly how it looks. We'll go to the next slide. So that's mostly the way a saw scale viper would sit and wait for its prey under a rock. That's the most comfortable position that they sit in, and sometimes they are just sitting in S position. But when they are threatened, they take a proper S position and they start rubbing their scales. Next slide, please. And that's an adult, by the way. That's how big a saw scale viper would get. We'll go to the next slide. Now, guys, do you see that there is something near the eye of this snake? Just exactly on the pupil itself. It's a little dirty. It's not like how most of the eyes of snakes that you see. This poor little thing was stuck on chewing gum. Can you believe this? It was stuck on chewing gum in the middle of the road, and this was one of my rescues. Most of the pictures that I have on this presentation are pictures which I have taken personally, and this poor thing was stuck on chewing gum in the middle of the road on a hot day. I narrowly missed going over it and got it home, and I tried so many things to get this the chewing gum which was stuck on the eye. We tried what do you call this, coconut oil. Then we tried I don't really recall what are the other things, but do you know what was the last thing which helped me get this out? It was neem oil. Thankfully, neem oil. But someone also suggested that I should use nail polish remover because it's easier. But guys, refrain from using such things. Refrain from using things which will give you a burning sensation. On certainly never on parts like eyes and stuff. And yes, what you see in front are the fangs of a sawscale viper, and what is covering it is a sheath. It's a protective layer. We generally call that as a sheath. That's what protects the fangs from any kind of damage which happens during hunting, or when they are biting on their prey. Yeah, so those are the fangs which are actually, they move it independently. It's quite risky to hold them that close, but at that point in time I had to do it. So yeah, that's my finger. I'm doing the main job of holding while another friend helped in cleaning up the snake from top. Next slide, please. These are the scales. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a good macro shot of the serrated part, but you'll see how keeled these scales are. They're pretty rough when they are rubbed against each other. So yeah, we can go to the next slide. Common kraits. Not very common is all I must say. Bungarus. I call it bungi sometimes with love. Very unfortunate. These snakes have a bad reputation as well. I mean, all snakes have a bad reputation, but these guys also suffer the same thing. They are known to be the snakes that will kill you in sleep. That's mainly because their fangs are about 2 millimeters. It's not big, it's just 2 millimeters. Imagine how big that would be. When they give you a bite, it could almost make you feel like, you're bitten by, what do you call it, a mosquito or something. You would probably just, scratch it off and go to bed. You'll feel sleepy, and then eventually that'll be the end of it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why common kraits are called as, the snakes that give you sleep for good or something like that. It's a weird myth that runs around common kraits. Easy way to identify them: the bands. They most often than not, they have these 2 white bands which runs all through their body, but the band starts somewhere after the neck. But again, guys, this, when I am giving you the patterns, always remember, most often than not, that is where the identification marks start. But we have seen many cases where the patterns are completely different. The head markings, for people who understand snakes, who are working with snakes on a regular basis. Yeah, thank you. Someone said it's a silent killer. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. So yeah, they are known as the silent killers, right? And yeah, so the easier way for us to identify them is mainly by the scale. There is a particular scale on the dorsal side that's on the top, which runs from the head till the tail. It's in hexagon shape. It's very prominent, and also the head shape of a krait is very different when compared to many other snakes, which is why it gets easier for people who handle snakes or who have been working with snakes to identify them. Difference between a common krait and a wolf snake, we will get to that in the next couple of slides. Venom is again neurotoxic venom, and the venom toxicity is 16 times more potent, more toxic than a cobra, a spectacled cobra. Kraits are known to eat other snakes. I mean, most of the snakes are cannibalistic. Common kraits are known to be cannibalistic. They hunt mainly on, you know, keelbacks, and well, recently, a friend of mine, when he was road hopping, looking for snakes on the road while he was riding around, he noticed, he saw a krait which was trying to eat a dead boa. Now, when I say a dead boa, this is not freshly just dead. It was dead as in, you know, vehicles had run over it. So that's how bad it was, crushed, and this krait was trying to consume it. I will go ahead and put this up on my stories on Instagram tonight again, just so all of you who have logged in can get to see it. Yeah, so that's basically about kraits. We'll move on to the next slide. Guys, I'm just going to take a very short break and grab a glass of water. Meanwhile, you can see the color variations in kraits. It's not necessary that they always found in the you know, in dark navy blue colors. They are also found in black or sometimes in brown. My Instagram ID will be shared to everyone, so you will get to see the story. Okay, I'm gonna hit mute for a quick second here and grab a glass of water. Right, I'm back. So that's the color variations that you see in common kraits. We'll go to the next slide. Banded krait, not found in South India, but also another beautiful snake, very beautiful snake, according to me, because I love the yellow and black patterns. It's not found in South India, but I'm sure people from South India can relate to these colors. We generally find them on the side of our footpaths, exactly the same pattern. Yeah, that's, see how much we copy, how much we take from nature. But do we learn one important thing, how to conserve? No, no. Rest everything we'll learn. We'll even copy the colors of nature, but we will not learn how to conserve nature. It's so you know, disheartening. But yeah, we find you know, banded kraits. These are called banded kraits. We find them towards the north of India. Their venom is a bit more toxic than a common kraits, but these snakes are also extremely shy, so we don't find anti-venom when this snake gives us a bite. But having said that, I think about 5 or 6 known recorded deaths have happened because of a banded krait's bite, which shows how shy they could get when it comes to biting a human being, or using or wasting their venom on a human being. That's what I would say. Cool. So we'll go to the next slide. Commonly cited non-venomous snakes, my favorite part. Let's get to the first one. And that's obviously, it has to be the rat snake. No, it has to be the rat snake. They are so common. You know, after cobras, after spectacled cobras, the most common snake in the whole of Bangalore is a rat snake. And these guys grow up to a size of 10, 12 feet. They are known to grow up to that size. They also carry a bad myth saying that, you know, they have a thorn at the end of their tail with which they'll envenomate you, or they'll, you know, hit you with the tail and you'll die. Well, this is a non-venomous snake. When I say non-venomous, the venom that it has is not something that will affect a human being in any possible manner. Yes, they are bitey snakes if you try to you know, mess with them, or if you try to handle them in a wrong manner. they will give you a very nasty bite, but they're also but it's absolutely non-venomous. And also they are called as the farmer's friends for a particular reason, because these, as the name goes, rat snakes, their main food is rats. But having said that, they are also amazing for this is an amazing snake to have in your neighborhood, because they also tend to eat other baby snakes. They're very territorial. Most of the snakes are very territorial, so they end up eating up venomous snakes also sometimes. Like snakelets of cobras and stuff, they manage to finish off. They manage to finish a lot of rats for you. Bandicoots, these are the guys who can get them because of the sheer length that they grow, and they can constrict really well, and they manage to eat bandicoots. Not many other snakes can get bandicoots. Russell vipers and these guys, I've seen them go for bandicoots so many times. So rat snakes, you also find them in about 6 different colors in in India. Sorry, I will speak about that. So yeah, the patterns on a rat snake, on the face, when you see the lines that you see on the face, this is very prominent in every rat snake. And if you look at the picture on the right hand side, the pattern which you see on the tail, there are lines and there are different patterns which are going on. This is also obvious on almost every rat snake, regardless of what color they are seen in. So yellow, gray, sort of creamish, you can say. I'll also share a picture of the 6 different colors rat snakes are found in. A close friend of mine called Yatin, I'm sure many of you know him, Yatin Kalki. He managed to document the different colors of rat snakes that you find in and around Bangalore. So I'm going to post that picture also on my story right after this, so you'll get to see the different colors. Can we go to the next slide, please? Bronzeback. Now, these are called, the full name for these are bronzeback tree snakes. Their main food is geckos and birds and other small creatures such as skinks and stuff. You know, most often than not, when we are called for rescues, and when we find, when someone calls us and says, you know, there is a snake which is hiding in my electric meter box, trust me, my instinct kicks in and says, yeah, I'm getting a bronzeback today. 99% it's a bronzeback, because they are always hiding in such places. They are thin, sleek, fast. They can get into such places where geckos go and, you know, sleep for the day, and they devour a lot of pests for us. You know, snakes are nature's pest controllers. We don't need to have pest control companies doing things which they do with chemicals and stuff. If we just let ecosystem take care of itself, the environment be around us, trust me, you will get rid of so many things that you feel as pests, but these guys are going to take care of them. Also, bronzebacks, very beautifully colored. They're called bronzeback because the top layer, the top lining on the body is bronze in color. When this snake inflates and deflates, as in, you know, when it puffs up to show that it is big in size and you shouldn't mess with it, the scales, you know, the interscalar color for this snake comes out with a very bluish tinge. It's so beautiful. And it's not only that, the tongue of this snake is also blue and black. It's a very beautiful snake. Again, non-venomous snake, mostly arboreal. 99% of the time this snake is arboreal, and they are amazingly fast. And in the night, you will see them sleeping on thorny bushes. They sleep on thorny bushes to avoid predators getting onto them. And that's their safety mechanism during the night. Next slide, please. Trinkets. For people who are from Bangalore, I'll tell you, this snake in Kannada is called Abharanada Havu. Abharana means a jewel. This is called a jewel. The scientific name for this snake is Helena, named after Helen of Troy. So because she was one of the most beautiful you know, women that Earth had. Now we are here, so I'm sure we find more beautiful women now. Jokes apart, guys, this is a very, very beautiful snake. They are so beautiful. When they are born, snakelets, you pick them up, put a torch under their body, you'll actually see the body translucent. You can see the heart beating and stuff like that. And trinkets are very, very dear to me, because the first time ever I saw snake eggs was trinket's eggs. There was this time where I rescued the snake. I mean, they are mostly nocturnal, but sometimes you find them during the day as well. So I was called for a rescue, and this beautiful darling was in somebody's basement. So I picked her up, put her in a bag, brought her home. It was pretty late. I could not find a decent place to relocate her, I mean, to release her. So I had to keep her at home. Now, I did not want to leave her inside a bag for the night. And those days I had an empty aquarium. So I just put her in the aquarium and I covered the lid, left a little bit of space for, the air and stuff. Popped out for about half an hour. Lights were shut down. I came back and I see about 7 yay big marbles around the snake. The snake is around these marbles. And I'm like, I called my wife and I'm like, did you put something so that the snake can just coil up? She's like, no. And then I was like, okay, then I have a feeling that we are looking at snake eggs. And then I moved the snake slowly and I touched the egg. Wow. I mean, even to date, that feeling has still not gone out of my brains. It was something so mystical. It was something so beautiful to, experience, that I had them at my home for the first time in my life. Unfortunately, I did not know how to incubate the egg, so I did not want to try. So I called an expert who advised it is best that I handed them over to an NGO who would take care of them. And likewise, the snakelets were hatched and released back to the wild. So I still have one of the shells with me as a memory with the date mentioned on it. I don't know it by heart, but it's at home. Next slide, please. Oh, these snakes mostly go for birds. They also eat rats. One of my videos recently, I had rescued a trinket, a big one. A friend of mine called Vikas helped me in rescuing this one. It was probably the biggest trinket that I've seen so far. It's about 4 feet. Brought it home again because it was a rainy night, didn't find a place to release it. Early in the morning when I was cleaning my backyard, I happened to see a small baby rat. Of course, probably the mother had tried moving the babies because of the heavy rains. It had dropped one of the babies and gone. The baby would not survive on its own, so I decided to feed it to the snake. I kept the baby on the floor. I brought the snake out. About 2-3 sniffs it took, and it started devouring this baby. What was more mesmerizing for me is the fact that the snake didn't let go of my hand. A wild snake eating out of my hand was a memory that will never ever fade off from my life. And that happened to be a trinket again. So what could be the chances, right? So yes, trinkets are going to be a little more dearer to me when compared to the other snakes, I guess. Let's go to the next slide. I hope I'm not taking too much time of you guys. Wolf snakes. Why are they called wolf snakes? Very simple. The canines are positioned in a way like how you have a dog's canine, but way smaller than that. They are very bitey fellas. 99% of the times when you handle them, you will get bit. They prefer eating geckos mostly, and they are amazing when it comes to climbing a wall. Little bit of a rough surface, and they will latch onto it, and they'll go up to any whatever height they have to look for their food. Very beautiful. Again, there is a lot of confusion in snakes, in wolf snakes these days, so I'm not going to get into the details. I would leave that to a few other experts who can describe what wolf snake is, which one. We have Annamalai wolf snake, then we have collared wolf snakes, then we have common wolf snakes, we have barred wolf snakes, then we have yellow spotted wolf snakes. We have a lot of wolf snakes, about 6-7 different types of wolf snakes. Yeah. I will come to the differentiation between a wolf snake and a krait. I actually have a picture which shows both the snakes, and I will leave it to you guys to tell me what it is. But for you to understand, I'll tell you, the marking, the white band on a wolf snake will start right after the head. if you see in the second picture or the first picture, you have the head which is brown. Immediately after that, you have a white band. Wolf snakes are known to have these bands which start right at the head. Remember this point. It's always something which starts right after the head. But in kraits, it generally starts a little bit further or below the after the neck. So that's the difference. That's the easiest way to identify. And then again, the color varies. Then the scales vary, but these would be minute changes or minute differences which people who are dealing with snakes on a day-to-day basis would look into. Or if you're looking at the molted skin of a snake, easier way to identify them is with the shape and size of the, mainly the shape of the scale. Next slide, please. We can go to the next slide, please. Buff stripe keelbacks. Again, all these snakes which we are talking about are all non-venomous snakes. Guys, if you would want to know more about venomous snakes, I'm not going much into detail, mainly because, as I said, the big four are the ones that we need to worry about. The big four are the ones that we have commonly found. That's the ones that you commonly find around us. Most often than not, it's the non-venomous species. And if you remember the very initial slide where I said how many of them are non-venomous, about 265 species are non-venomous. Very few venomous species are there that would threaten our life, that would put our life into danger. But mostly what we have is non-venomous snakes. One of them is a buff stripe keelback. Again, the color varies. Sometimes the red color that you see on the snake on the left-hand side towards north of Karnataka, we have found something which is blue instead of that part being red. The stripes that you see, which are starting from the neck, they run all the way till the tail. And again, the patterns change. The patches that you see might vary, but end of the day, the easiest way to identify a buff stripe keelback would be with the lines that run through the head all the way till the tail. Next slide, please. Checkered keelbacks, water snakes. In Kannada, neer ulla havu. Neer ulla havu. Checkered keelbacks, they, again, you find them in different morphs, sometimes pinkish, green, sort of black. Most often than not, you'll see them with these black dots all around the body. These are snakes which are highly defensive, highly defensive. They, I don't have a count of the number of checkered keelbacks that I've rescued so far or caught so far in my life, but I do have a count of how many have not bitten me. Three snakes have not bitten me. Even a baby recently, you know, another rescuer who I know very dearly, I would not want to take the name. He has helped incubate a clutch of checkered keelback eggs. So I've gone to his house to see the progress, because he said about 5 had come out and a few are yet to come. Of course, he had informed the forest department that, you know, he's keeping those eggs at home because unfortunately the place where he is, the city or state where he is in, they didn't have a functioning NGO who would take care of this. So he was authorized by the forest department to retain the eggs and incubate them and then release them back into the wild. Sorry, Chikha, don't scream. Sorry guys. That's my nephew's friend who's screaming for him. Right, so checkered keelbacks, I was saying, these are again non-venomous snakes. They are very, very feisty. Oh, I was talking to you about my friend who has incubated them. So it's a baby which is less than 12 hours. I've lifted it in my hand. I'm holding it in my hand and it's trying to bite through my skin. I mean, it's not that they learn this when they grow. It's something which comes to them by instinct. When something which is not their own, they tend to bite. No, snakes don't have legs. They evolved from having legs to what they are today. That's what we have read about snakes evolution. So no, they don't have legs. That was a very simple question, so I wanted to answer it off. The rest of the questions we'll certainly keep it for future. Now, checkered keelbacks, as I was saying, water snakes, their main food is fish, as we have known for all these years. But recently, our friend Yatin Kalki wrote a paper where he found remains of a gecko in the stomach of a dead checkered keelback, which he found on the middle of the road. Again, it was a roadkill. He picked it up to see what had happened, and he apparently found the gecko inside the stomach. And so hence we know that they are also after geckos and stuff, which is why it makes more sense when we see a checkered keelback far away from a water body inside somebody's house where we have been called for a rescue. It's not very common, but yes, it does happen. They evolved from lizards. Yes, that's what I've read too. Chirag, thank you. So yeah, checkered keelbacks can grow up to a maximum size of 4.5 to 5 feet. But the ones that you get to see inside the city are generally about 2-3 feet. Females growing up to 3.5 feet. I've seen pictures, I've seen videos of checkered keelbacks being about 4.5, 5. I've only gotten to handle one checkered keelback, which was that big. And yes, that was one of the first ones which did not land a bite on me because she was big enough and I could avoid the bite. That was what it was. But she did try her best. Next slide, please. Common sand boa, easily mistaken for a python, but people don't realize that pythons can be big when compared to common sand boas, who are very small. These are burrowing snakes. They have a very rough scale. Their bodies are very rough when compared to other snakes. It's because they have to deal with such kind of an environment. They have to burrow themselves deep through to find their food, earthworms and stuff like that. Oh, but just not that, these guys are also known to hunt down garden lizards, or what we call as rock agamas. They have enough number of teeth which can cause good amount of damage when you get bitten by them. But again, as long as you are not jumping onto the snake's head when it bites you, most of the bites are very, they're not as dangerous. They won't cause that much of harm to you. It'll probably be a couple of pricks and they will let go. But rat snakes, these teeth just go through and through. So sometimes it's a deep gash. So yeah, the bigger the rat snake is, the worse the bite gets. Common sand boas, they have black patterns or black patches on their body when compared to the next snake that we see. It's called as the Whitaker's sand boa. We have quite a few species of sand boas. One is the red sand boa, then we have the common sand boa, then we have Whitaker's sand boa. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is a red sand boa, burrowing snakes. All of these are generally known to be constrictors. So most of the non-venomous snakes, guys, are constrictors. That's how they get their food. That's how they manage to subdue their food. They latch on and then they have to constrict their food. Of course, the pressure is not exactly like how a python's pressure is, but it depends from each snake to each snake on the pressure that is being applied. Red sand boas, known to humankind to be the snake which brings in luck and fortune and whatnot. And these snakes are tortured in a different level altogether in the black market industry, because they say that, you know, if you have one of these snakes at your home, you'll be blessed with a lot of money. But what kind of fools go in for these snakes? I don't understand, you know, because these snakes would, I mean, see, the last that I've heard, again, please do not believe what I'm saying amount wise as perfect, because it varies from seller to seller. I've been told that it goes out for about 1.5, 2 lakhs, and sometimes it goes into crores and stuff to buy one of these snakes. Now, the criteria to buy the snake: this particular snake has to be a minimum of 4.5 kilos for it to be eligible to bring good luck and a lot of money to your house. In its history of this snake, it has never grown to 4 kilos. 4.5 kilos. No, never. So what do people do to make the snake be worthwhile? It's very simple. They take ball bearings, which you find in lorries and buses, which are big enough, and then they shove it down the snake's mouth, send it through, and just so that the snake cannot regurgitate it, they even manage to stitch the mouth. And then the snake is brought out to the dealer. The dealer brings it to the seller and sells it off, saying, "Look at this. This is above 4.5 kilos. It's about so and so." Now, this person who is buying the snake obviously does not know what a snake is. So he doesn't care, or he doesn't understand when he is even touching the snake. Sometimes they're not even touching the snake, they're just dumping it in a corner. They're just dumping it inside their house. They don't realize that the snake also needs to eat. But just the fact that, the snake is going to bring you more money, a rich person will spend some more money to buy the snake. So the point is, a rich person is buying this, all right? Not a poor person who actually needs money. God, greed makes people do such filthy things to snakes, which have, I feel I really pity these snakes, because I have never been bitten by even one of them. I have rescued an overall 48 of these boas in my tenure, in my career of rescues, but I've never been bitten by them. They are so docile, and see what they go through thanks to us humans. It's for the sake of money. Some people also say that, the body, 6 months of a year, the snake will have a head which goes from this direction. After 6 months, the head will come to this direction. I'm like, how is that even scientifically possible? How are the intestines going from here to there? How is the tail changing? How are the eyes going to that side? There's no logic behind what people have to talk about. It's just this, that they know stuff which has been passed on from their great grandfathers. So they believe it. And that's what goes on as legacy. What my great grandfather said, he knows it everything. He is the right person. So no, guys, that doesn't happen. What the reason why it is called a double-headed snake is mainly because of the defense mechanism that the snake has. So when a prey attacks it, the head goes immediately under the body, and it starts digging the ground so it can go inside to save its life. Meanwhile, the tail, which looks exactly like the head, starts moving around and enacts like the head, where the predator starts attacking the tail, and the head is doing the function of, digging the ground and burrowing and getting deep inside. Yes, double engine is the name that smugglers or poachers, let's call them poachers, not smugglers. Smugglers are different than poachers. Poachers are the ones who take life out of a forest. Smugglers are the ones who give you drugs and brings in a lot of money and stuff. I think that's the basic differentiation between a smuggler and a poacher. Yeah, that was off topic, but thank you for bringing that up. Yes, double engine, double headed, Yarad Tale Havu in Kannada, so many different things this poor thing is called by. Juveniles are beautiful. Again, they have black bands on them. They look very different to what an adult looks. And also they are very, very smelly. When you handle one of them, they continuously poop so that you can let go of them. It's very stinky, man. I don't like the smell that much. Let's go to the next slide on that note. Whitaker's boa, as I was saying, it's very easy to identify these guys because they are more brownish on the patches when compared to a sand boa, which is black. The scales are much smoother on Whitaker's boa, and I think the tail is a little bit blunt on on a common sand boa. The tail is a little bit more blunt when compared to a Whitaker's boa. It's a little bit more sharp. Otherwise, the scales are smooth, and brown patches is what differentiates. It's the easiest way to differentiate between Whitaker's boa and common sand boa. Common sand boas, you will find them in the south of Bangalore. I mean, in Bangalore and the south of Karnataka. But towards the north, we will find Whitaker's boa. You will find a lot of Whitaker's boa towards Mangalore, Udupi, Puttur, further on. Not in Bangalore. Bangalore, we don't find Whitaker's boa. So again, the geographical range of each snake varies. So these snakes are up north, and we have the blacker versions on, on our side. Yeah. Next slide, please. I see that we have about 15-20 minutes left, so I'm going to try to cover up as much as possible. I will rush through it a little, but I'll try not to miss out on too much information. Next slide, please. Vine snakes. Now we are talking about mildly venomous snakes or semi-venomous snakes. Basically, these are snakes which are rear-fanged. Now, when I say rear-fanged, now how do I explain this? Colubrids, or snakes which have fangs which are fixed in the front, such as our big four, the cobras, the Russell vipers, kraits, and we have sawscale vipers. Now, these guys have fangs which are right at the front of their mouth. The semi-venomous snakes, or the mildly venomous snakes that we call, are basically rear fang. Now, if you see in this picture, the one which is flashing, the fangs that are flashing are not the ones which deliver fangs. Those are not the ones, which deliver venom. Those are not the ones which are connected to the venom sac. Those are the ones which are connected to the venom sac are much deeper in their mouth. Now, this really doesn't affect adult, because by the time the snake has bitten an adult, it's most often than not, because our limbs are much bigger when compared to an infant, it's generally the front fangs which land on us. And let's say the snake lands a proper bite on an adult, the venom is not potent enough to kill us. The maximum damage that you would go through is probably you will have a feeling of nausea. You might go ahead and vomit for about 2 to 3 hours. You might have severe headache for about 2 to 3 hours, but after that you will absolutely be okay. So you do not need to panic and go into a cardiac arrest and die, which is what generally happens with human beings. Oh, a snake bit me. Oh, a dog bit me. Cardiac arrest will kill you even before the venom can react. I wish that would be the case with so many other animals which snakes hunt. Cardiac arrest would, actually help the snake devour its food faster. But yeah, we humans, generally we die out of cardiac arrest and just the sheer shock that a snake has bitten us than the venom reacting on us. So vine snakes, they have binocular vision. They can pinpoint their food without it having to move. Now, most of the snakes are they are visually, they go by looking at what they're seeing. They see movements, which is what the cobras do, right? You move the flute in front of them, they are moving in that direction to save themselves. But these guys, snakes like vine snakes, cats, some of the cat snakes, they have binocular vision. What does that mean? That means that their prey does not really need to move. They can understand or relate to their prey by just looking at it. They know that that is their prey and they can get to it directly. That's what vine snakes are. We'll go to, we find them in two different, we have two different species. One is the green vine, and then the other one is the brown vine. Now in green, we have other subspecies as well, which I'm not going to discuss in depth. We're just going to go through the overview of these snakes. We'll go to the next slide, please. This is how a green vine would generally look. This picture is certainly taken in the night, which is why you can see the the flash, the light going off so bright on the snake. And they're very easy to identify because they have a yellowish bottom ventral scale, and they shine through. When you look at them from below, they are generally sleeping on the edges of trees or branches. So when you flash the light from below, they are very obvious to find out. Guys, when I'm telling you it's very obvious to find snakes by flashing your torch, if you are not used to seeing snakes, if you're not used to handling snakes, if you're not a snake person, just because I'm saying that it's easy to spot them, do not venture into forest. Do not go ahead and do what some professionals do, because what professionals like us and many others do is because we crave to see them in the wild. We are tired of seeing them in rescue spots. We want to see how snakes behave in their natural habitat, so we want to go and have a look at them. Sometimes we even handle them. Please do not try to replicate us without knowing what it is, because sometimes you might land into a bigger trouble, because you might not be looking at a vine snake, you might be looking at something else. So please be careful. Do not try to do what we do. Please learn from people who know snakes. Learn from learn from books. Learn from pictures. Then take a call on whether you really want to be the person who wants to handle them. And if you want to handle them, know for sure in your heart why you want to handle them. Don't do it for show, please. Next slide. This is a common cat snake. Now again, I don't think this is a common cat snake with the picture. I think there's a small mistake. I think that's either a Ceylon cat snake or it should be either a Ceylon or another species, subspecies, but I'm pretty sure that's not a common cat snake. That's a pictorial, that's an error in the picture. Anyways, so cat snakes, they are called cat snakes because of the way their pupils are. Just, when you shine too much of light, the pupil just goes all, just like how you have it in cat's eyes. That's how it is. They are again arboreal, rare fang snakes, semi-venomous or mildly venomous is what you can call them. Some people don't even have a reaction to, semi-venomous snake bites. Bedoms, yes, thank you, Chirag. Yes, this could either be a Bedom's cat snake or it could be a Ceylon cat snake. The difference is by the scales, where we need to count scales, and that's how you'll get to know what the difference is. Otherwise, pattern wise, color wise, they're almost the same. Yeah, we can move to the next slide. Nag Panchami, a famous festival of India. Guys, one thing I must tell, our great grandfathers might have given us a lot of wrong information, but if it was not for them, and if it was not for Lord Shiva to have a cobra around him, we would have probably eradicated ourselves from this world long back. We wouldn't have let snakes live around us. So yeah, all thanks to our great grandfathers who have given us hints and tips on what snakes are and stuff like that. We let them live. And because snakes are revered as gods in India, people do not kill cobras at the first sight. And because we can't identify every species, we think that every other snake that we see is a cobra, and we still wait for a rescuer to come and rescue it, which is amazing. Now, one thing I would really want to highlight here, in Tamil, the language Tamil, a cobra is called Nalla Pambu. Pambu means snake, Nalla means good. Guys, believe me, it really means that, it is actually a very good snake. People who have worked with cobras will vouch for this. They do not want to bite you. They do not want to land, kill you at the first time. I'm comparing, a wolf snake to a cobra, or a checkered keelback to a cobra. You touch a checkered keelback, you're bound to get bitten. You go to a cobra, it will hood, it will wait, it will give you a warning, it will hiss, it will probably give you a mock charge, it will come towards you, and it will try to escape. But what do we humans do with a cobra? Just look at these pictures. Do you see the threads popping out from the sides of the mouth? This is something which happens on Naga Panchami, the festival where this particular snake, this beautiful species, is supposed to be worshipped. This beautiful species is supposed to be respected. What are we doing with it? Stitching its mouth so that it doesn't bite you? Stitching
its mouth up so that it doesn't hurt you, hurt the human being, putting kumkum and haldi, and I mean, look at the eye of that cobra, man. It's gone red. It's because of that kumkum which has been put. Snakes are not supposed to go through all this in real life. Snakes don't drink milk even. They are lactose intolerant. Have you ever come across a snake giving, snakes don't have teeth. They don't milk their babies like how a cow does, like how a goat does, like how our mothers do. It's mammals who need milk. Snakes don't. They are lactose intolerant. They are non-vegetarian animals. I mean, yeah, reptiles are all non-vegetarians. They prefer meat, man. They want rats. They want birds. They want eggs. These are the things that snakes want. But now you might be wondering, oh, how are you saying that? We have seen, snakes drink milk in movies. Devi, the icon of Nagin. I mean, I grew up for those movies. I will stand for those movies because I love them. I've watched those movies so many times. I wouldn't deny it. But see, what I understood over a course of time is this: that snakes, for the sake of uh, public view, uh, what the snake charmers do is that they capture a snake, they keep it with them for about a week or two without giving it anything. Now, when I say without giving it anything, guys, most often than not, snakes get the moisture, get their water content from the prey that they eat. Rats, whatever they are eating, they get their water content. But having said that, they do go for water when it is available. It's not that they don't drink water. But now, when a snake is kept captive for about a week or two without having access to anything, the snake is thirsty. It's hungry. You bring it out, guys. Keep a mug of beer, man. Trust me, it'll go for it. Forget milk. You'll have a new species of snake which is drinking beer or any other type of alcohol. But what I'm trying to say is this is how the picturization of a snake drinking milk comes into play, because the snake is thirsty. It just wants to drink whatever it can to quench its thirst. Most often, there are chances that after drinking that milk, a couple of hours later, that snake might have even died because of indigestion, because it's already hungry, hadn't eaten anything, and then it drinks something which is not suitable for its body. So yeah, people take liters of milk and they put it in an ant hill, thinking that that's the house of a snake. No, it is not. If an ant hill is covered completely, what we call hutta, without any major big holes in it, chances are that there is no snake in it at all. Not chances are, there is absolutely no snake in it. It's a termite mound. But if there are holes, snakes would prefer to go in it because there are other animals who take refuge in a termite mound. Have any one of you seen a termite mound from inside? No, not really. You should go into YouTube and check out termite mounds. If you see a termite mound which is 3 feet on the ground, it's probably 3 or 4 feet deeper inside, but it's also about 5 to 6 feet in radius. It's an amazing palace. It's an amazing palace under the ground, which we cannot imagine. The intricate way these ants make it, I'm telling you, I've gone to a couple of places where they are, digging empty sites out to build houses and stuff. Oh my God, the way these termites build their houses, man, it's way better than what Shah Jahan ever built for Mumtaz. Oh, I'm not kidding. And sometimes I've found baby snakes. I'm mark my words again, baby snakes 4 or 5 feet below. A Russell's kukri once about 3.5 feet below the ground. How is it even breathing there? Because I think just like how crocodiles can reduce their heartbeat to about 3 beats a minute, I think snakes can do that too. So they can breathe in the most, in places where oxygen levels are really less. But this is again my understanding. I don't know. I'm not the snake. I've never gone there to see what the oxygen level is, but it's just my understanding. If it's 3, 4 feet below the ground, then I think it is a little less oxygen over there, and they are able to breathe because of the way snakes are designed. So guys, one thing that I would urge you to do, if you see snake charmers, which are not many these days, thanks to the awareness that is being spread among people, we don't find many snake charmers. But if you do, especially during Nag Panchami, please make sure that you alert the forest department or alert the nearest rescuer. More than the forest department, I think a rescuer would have more zest in getting these people. For any reason that it may be, rescuers will do the needful. Unfortunately, many of our forest department people do not have the right kind of knowledge about snakes. Just like us commoners who don't know much about snakes, who don't care much to know about them. So right action is not taken. But having said that, now that you know what kind of brutal things, the brutalities that these poor things go on, please see if you can help them. Call out for the nearest rescuer. Tell them that you have spotted a person, a snake charmer who's carrying a snake with them in their pit, in their box. Keep a track on the snake charmer so that he doesn't vanish, and this poor rescuer comes and goes on a wild goose chase. So please see if you can help people, help snakes out in this way. Next slide, please. All right, common hideouts for snakes in homes. If these pictures are not very clear, guys, just remember one thing: wherever you have a clutter of things, those are the places where snakes will hide. Let's move through the slides a little quick. Sometimes snakes tend to go into vehicles. This is one thing I would like to mention. People generally call us saying, oh, there's a snake in my bike, there's a snake in my car. You know what's the only answer that I have received when I've reached the rescue spot? How did the snake get in? It was slithering here. We followed it, we went towards it, and then it just started climbing into the car. No, it just didn't start climbing into the car, my friend. It got into the car because it is scared of you following it. It wanted to slither away. You came in its way, it got spooked, and then you followed it, and then you forced it up to your vehicle. So, guys, if you notice a snake going anywhere close to a vehicle, give some distance or vanish off that place. Literally vanish off from that place. Trust me, the snake will not go onto the bike. It does not have a license. Nobody's going to give it a license to drive or ride. And it doesn't have an opposable thumb to drive or ride a bike or a car. Remember that. It's only getting into these vehicles to protect itself because it thinks it's going to get safe in the closest thing it can hide into. And it's very difficult to extract snakes from vehicles sometimes. So if you see a snake going under a car, do not run towards it. Sit down on the ground because that's where you will see the ground, thoroughly. Sit down and see where the snake goes. Once it has crossed the vehicle, go on the other side of the vehicle and then keep a watch on the snake. But this is if it is inside your compound. If the snake is on the road and it's going inside a bush, don't follow it. Please don't. You're going to risk yourself. The snake is in its habitat. You're going to risk yourself. Next slide, please. So these are again different places where we have rescued snakes from, sometimes in washing machines, sometimes in a fridge, sometimes inside power sockets, sometimes in a pant. In a pant. Wow, yes, that was inside a pant. It was a big cobra which got into somebody's pant. But that was because that pant was hung over there for ages. It wasn't touched, and a rat had made a small house inside the pocket, and the snake had gone to clear the rat. It didn't go in over there for any other reason. Next slide, please. Right, so shoes, again, a very common place, especially in winters. So guys, when you have a shoe rack, make sure you keep it a little elevated from the ground, or if you can, move them inside. And if you really don't think so much, at least when you are wearing them, just check your shoes once for snakes. This is provided you're living in areas where snakes are known to be seen. If you have heard about your neighbors talking about snakes and stuff, so watch out for such things, because it's only carelessness which will land us into a scenario where the snake has ended up biting us. And please remember, snakes bite us in defense because they have nothing else to do. They don't know anything else. They don't have hands to push your leg off. They don't have legs to kick you off. The only thing they can do is give you a bite. Now, you'll see one picture where the snake is sitting on a commode in the bathroom or on the sink. Guys, this has become very common these days. You know why? It's again thanks to us. We human beings have managed to do that. We have forced them out of forest. Out of forest, we have very few forests. And then what do? We remove all the clutter from our house, garbage, wastage from our house. Easiest place to throw it. Check if your neighbor is seeing or not, and slowly you're done with your waste, right? You've just thrown it off and you're happy. Now what happens in that place? Rats start to come for that. And where do rats hide? Inside gutters. Where is their food? Inside the gutters. So snakes are thriving in gutters these days. And where do these gutters lead to? It's your pipes. It's your house pipes which are kept outside into the gutter to let go of the wastewater. And then snakes find an outlet or an inlet to your house. And why do they find that? They would have probably got the pheromones or the smell of a rat which has gone into that pipe and come out from somewhere else, or probably just run through and through The snake goes in, gets confused, tries to come out from somewhere, and then eventually you'll see a cobra hooding out of your commode. Such scenes have happened already, and they are rising. Cases like these are rising. And why is it rising? Because we are giving birth to such things. We should be proud of the kind of things that we do. Yay. Next slide, please. Guys, please do not take what I'm saying in an offensive manner. And if you do, you're only going to dig a grave for yourself by not being careful. That is all I can say. So this is again a snake going into a washing machine. How did that happen? Again, when the person saw the snake go towards the washing machine, the best thing the person should have done is sat down to see where the snake is going. But no, they ran towards the snake, and the snake panicked, went right inside the washing machine. And then when we started, moving the washing machine, the snake got even more scared for its life, and then it went into crevices and small holes from where it got even more difficult for us to get it out. Had the initial step been where you just stood your ground, sat down, thought for a minute, patience would have ended up in different manners. But yeah, that's certainly our mistake again. Next slide, please. So again, shoes, you see the, as I said, bronze backs, sometimes we get calls where they are into electric meters and stuff. Not necessary that it's only and only a bronze back. It could be other snakes as well. So we have, I don't know, I think that was a cobra from there. But do you see the cobra which is hooding out of the commode like this? Yeah, that's again, also these pictures which I am showing you where the snakes are, common hideouts for snakes in homes. These pictures are a mix and match of what I have taken and another friend of mine, another fellow rescuer called Rahi Das from Bangalore has taken. So not all pictures are mine, guys. Due credit to Rahi Das, who's taken the effort of clicking these pictures and giving it to me so I can use these in different sessions like this. Next slide, please. Yeah, so again, inside the shoes, under tables, different places. Yeah, I think we can skip through the common hideouts. Just pause for like about 5 seconds so everyone can take a look of where they find it, and then we can move further to the next slide. Shoe racks. Try to see if you can keep them at a higher elevated place. That I think is a Russell Viper which has gone towards the helmet. It generally wouldn't happen. Again, if you see that it's a juvenile, it's not a full-grown adult, so it's more flexible. It can climb up things, and it has managed to get there. Snakes know that their head also needs safety from the sticks that we use to remove. I'll tell you what it is, what we want to remove. I'll tell you. Next slide, please. Again, common hideouts. Do you see in this first picture on the left-hand side where the wolf snake is? It's a water tank on the middle of the road, and the snake is perched high up. This is what I was talking about. A small, even the slightest rough surface that a wolf snake can find, it'll easily climb up. I love the way they manage to, scale different heights without effort. Next slide, please. Yeah, vehicles, and again. Next slide. Bird keepers, very important. Good thing to see. We get calls where people say, I have lovebirds. I had 10 lovebirds, but now I have only 1 or 2 left. It's because at the last day is when they have actually seen a cobra, popping its head out to check if there are more birds from the pot, which is basically kept for the bird to hide and stay. But a snake has gotten in. Why did this happen? Because the mesh that you use to cage your birds is big enough or wide enough for a snake to get in. Probably it's wide enough for a snake to get in with an empty stomach. It's not always wide enough for the snake to come out with a full belly. So unfortunately, we have seen cases where snakes regurgitate their food to come out of such situations. So it's a total waste of the venom, the effort that the snake is put in swallowing the snake, swallowing its prey and everything, and then when it has to come out, it eventually has to regurgitate. So yeah, but what you can probably do is use a steel mosquito mesh, cover the bird cage so that nothing gets in. Guys, sometimes we humans really do not think about the fact that birds can also get bitten by mosquitoes. Birds can also fall prey to diseases like malaria and stuff like that. It has happened. It's just this that we don't realize it, or rather we don't really care. I mean, you love a bird, you want to have it, as a piece of show. When someone's coming into your house, you have a big garden, you want to give them some security, no? If you really want to have them, or just let them fly. There are other things which will get them as food. I'm just saying what comes to me, guys. Don't take me wrong again. Next slide, please. Right. So people were saying, what was it? I was telling you that Russell vipers give birth to about 100 odd babies, 70 odd babies sometimes at one shot. Cobras, they lay about 30 eggs. But what happens to all of those babies? Imagine if we didn't have such predators. Did you ever know? Do you see this bullfrog, which is there at the bottom slide, and the third picture? It's munching on a Russell viper baby, and it's holding a cobra. Can you imagine a frog eating a snake? I mean, we have seen that snakes go for frogs, but look at this. It's vice versa, and it's bound to happen. It is bound to happen. Nature will surprise you in many ways. I mean, I was shocked the first time I saw this, but when I look at it, it makes complete sense to me, because bullfrogs are known to devour anything that moves around them. They're not specific of what they're eating, and they are pretty quick. So a Russell viper baby would just be like a noodle. It's done. That cobra is also the same. So yeah, since we have so many predators who prey on baby snakes, we don't get to see that many snakes in and around us. Out of the 70 that the mother gave birth to, probably 4 or 5 survive, or maybe 1 or 2 survive. Out of the 30 eggs that the a mother cobra laid, maybe 1 came up to adulthood, or maybe all the 30 were eaten up by another cobra who was passing by and thought, oh, that's a nice meal. So things like this happen in nature because they don't have hospitals where they can go and deliver, right? Yeah. So it's only us who don't have a control on our birth. Rest, everything else has. And now we are even neutering animals getting inside the forests. Oh, wild elephants in South Africa. I've heard about this case. It's so insane. Can you even think about it? People are, curbing population of animals by neutering and spaying animals in the wild. But you'll never think about stopping giving birth to babies. Oh my God, no, never. Rescuers are tormented with this thing. Sir, please come soon. I have babies around. I have children around my house, and there are snakes. Guys, we are everywhere. It's time that we try and give them some space. We learn how to live and let live. It's very important. We are at that crucial stage right now. And trust me, this is the generation who can make a change. If we don't, your future generation is going to go through hardship, guys. I say your because I'm not planning on one. Let's move on. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be offensive. I'm just this is how I am, guys. Don't take me wrong, please. Let's get to the next slide before someone throws something at me. Yes, identification time. It's time for you to differentiate between 2 different species. Let's go for it. Next slide. If you know the answer, you can type it out, and whoever has said it right will be told that yes, they were right. And I'll tell the answer maybe after 5 or 6 seconds. Yes, I see sand boa. Sand boa is not the right answer, guys. I need to know which sand boa.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a common sand boa and we have a Whitaker sand boa in this picture. let's go to the next slide. Whoever has mentioned Whitaker sand boa and common sand boa, hats off to you guys for understanding it. If you have understood it from this session, but if you already knew, I'm happy that you still know the right thing, guys. This is the most common mistake that people do, and this costs lives. Trust me, this costs lives. Many people go through this mistake. The only hint I will give you is one is highly venomous, whilst the other isn't. The other one is a non-venomous snake. I see a lot of correct answers. I see a lot of correct answers. I'm so happy looking at those correct answers. I'm going to step inside the house and request for people to keep quiet because it's very windy and it's very cold. Just give me a quick minute, guys. I'm going to put myself on. Yay, thank you. So yes, the one which you see to the left side of your screen, no, that's the right side of your screen, sorry, is a Russell's viper, which is highly venomous. The one you see to the left is Indian rock python. It's a constrictor, non-venomous snake. They can land a very painful bite, but it's a non-venomous snake. But the one to the left is venomous snake, guys. Sorry, I'm getting a call back to back from one of my fellow rescuers. Just give me a quick minute here. Rohit, going through a session. Can I call you back? 20 minutes? I'm not in my house. I'm far away. Okay, back. Right, I'm back. Next slide, please. It's raining in Bangalore and quite a few snakes are out. Right, so let's see who can help identify this. I hope you remember what I said some time back. Very happy to see a few correct answers there, but I'm also eager to see if there's anyone who would give me the wrong answer. I have a set of smart people today. Everyone have understood this really correct. The one to your left is is a wolf snake. Let me not go with common or what, but yes, to the left is a wolf snake. To the right is certainly a common krait. It's not just a krait, guys. It's not right to identify a snake as just a krait. It is a common krait. The reason why I say that is because we have different species of snakes. Like we have the Sindh krait, then we have the common krait, then we have which is the yellow and black one, the bandit krait and stuff like that. So yeah, it's always better you identify the snake with the complete name. So the one on your right is a venomous one, which is a common krait to your left. It is a wolf snake. Next slide, please. Snake movement. No, let's skip this slide. But I'll tell you guys, for those who really want to understand, just like how we humans are going to use our feet in different ways depending on the kind of flooring that we step on. So if it's slippery, we are going to, like, be extra careful. If it is rough, we are absolutely fine the way we walk. And sometimes we might have to presume the style of a crab when you're coming down from a hill. So likewise, snakes movements differ from surface to surface. Not necessary that every snake has to. It's not typical to one particular snake. All snakes can use these different types of movement. The one which says this, the side winding thing, not important that only a side winder has to do it. If you are aware, sometimes even our checkered keelback snakes do this. Hump-nose spit vipers do the side winding moves when they have to get away from their predators and stuff like that. So yeah, movement of a snake totally depends on that particular situation, on that particular flooring that the snake is in. Next slide, please. General symptoms of a snake bite, guys. This is something that I would request each of you to just go onto Google, and you will get this exact same picture. Download it, see the different parts which get affected. But the easiest way for a person to understand whether or not he has been given a wet bite by a venomous snake is instant pain, and that's excruciating pain, shortness of breath, or let's say you're having difficulties in breathing. In about 10 minutes, you'll also have difficulty in seeing. Some people have found difficulties in the way the taste of the, your mouth tastes different. People say that it tastes like they're tasting metal. So yes, these are all signs of you having, a venom in your body, and venom is reacting with your body. Next slide, please. Please download this particular picture from the internet to see the different types of effects that your body can have. Do not miss out. Just type general symptoms of a snake bite on humans. You will see this man with all his body parts and all the probable problems he can come up with. I don't know if he was really bitten or not, but may God keep him safe. Next slide, please. Right. So do you know why I've brought this particular picture out over here? This is basically for us humans to understand why we land up with snake bites. Do you see what parts of the body are there in a snake, and where are these parts? These are all vital parts or delicate parts, what we humans call. And for us humans, we have it all in our torso, starting from our brain to all our guts to our intestines. Everything is placed in this part, right? And just this part. But what happens with the snake? It's all over. It's laid. It's spread out, right? So imagine when you are stepping on the snake. What are you technically doing? You are pressing a very, very delicate organ inside. Guys, imagine you're sleeping on the ground. Someone steps on your stomach, and they are pressing your intestines. What is your reaction? Let's say you're dumb. You really can't make a sound. What is your reaction? You're gonna kick. You're gonna use your hands. But what is a snake going to do? It's going to come with its mouth. It's trying to tell you to get away. That's the reason it's biting you. There's no other reason, because it's hurting. Please understand this. And if you get this right, the next time you put your step in grass, saying, oh, it's lovely grass in the nighttime, I just want to walk somewhere, think before. There are these fellas spreading their body parts out on the ground, hoping that nobody lands on them. But then you are there with your 40 kilos or 50 kilos or 60 kilos of weight on that poor thing. Now, the other thing that I want to emphasize by showing this picture is these days in India, it's become a trend to use tongs, which are not really tongs. These are pluckers, which you people should be using to pluck out, mangoes and stuff from trees. But these are used to, hold snakes and move them out of your property. people do not realize what kind of damage they're doing to these snakes. They are holding them so hard that you're first breaking the vertebra of the snake. Second, you're rupturing internal parts of the snake, leaving it to die a very, very painful death. Snakes who have been held by one of these pluckers will not die instantly. They will not show signs of injury instantly because you are holding the snake without understanding what damage it's giving. And have you ever seen how sharp or serrated those pluckers are? When you hold it, it's pretty, just put it on your finger. Just put your finger in between and press on it. You will know what I'm talking about. It hurts, man. It hurts. It's something that you should not use it. And if you see someone using it, stop them from doing it because it really hurts. It breaks down the snake. There have been cases where someone has held the snake from the neck. They've gone and thrown it around. The snake has slithered away. The adrenaline rush in the snake has not let it, stay there. It has slithered further away, but it has not been able to eat. For over a period of a month, the snake is lying in that position, wherever it is hiding, and eventually dies out of hunger. It's so bad. Whenever I think about an animal dying out of hunger, the only picture that comes to my mind is one of these pictures where this famous photographer took of a very hungry child in I think this was Nagasaki and Hiroshima after the nuclear bomb. Where this baby is trying to reach food. It's so hungry. It's all skinny. There's hardly any meat on it. It's just skin and bones. It's trying to reach for its food and dies. That's the kind of thing that I picturize when I see a snake dying out of hunger, or any animal dying out of hunger because of what we have done. If it is happening by nature, it's what nature is doing. But when we have intervened, this is what we are causing. Next slide, please. Another view of the flexible creature. This technically shows again the same thing, so we can move to the next slide. First aid for snake bites. This will be short. I know I've taken a little extra time. Let's go to the next slide. So guys, the right thing to do is to the do's and don'ts when you're bitten by a snake, or when you see someone bitten by a snake. Eradicate everything that you have learned so far. Tying a tourniquet, removing blood, trying to suck it out, cutting open the wound. Anything that you have learned all these years, thanks to Sri Devi's movies and thanks to what our elders have said, just eradicate everything. The right thing to do is stay calm. First and foremost thing, stay calm. Because the moment you panic, remember your blood pressure is going high, the blood is hitting your brains, and eventually you are, the blood pressure is going high, the venom is hitting your heart, and then you're done. You're just a piece of flesh which is being carried to this thing. Which type of venom is injected here? Okay, we'll get to the thing very quick. So this is what you need to do when you're bitten by a snake. Do nothing. In case it's your hand, hold it in a position like how you have when you have had a fracture. If it is your leg, sit down, lift your leg a little up, and then rush to the hospital as soon as possible. When I say rush, you are not rushing yourself. I mean, if it is you who's bitten, you're not the one who's rushing yourself. Ask someone to rush you to the hospital. One thing you can do is, after you're bitten by a venomous snake, you can keep your hand under running water, apply some soap, and wash it with soap water. But I would still urge, and I would say stop at just keeping your hand under running water, because sometimes what happens, because of the way the fang of a snake is, there are chances that the bite is, the fang has penetrated your body, but no venom has gone in, and the venom is right outside the bite area. But when you put your hand and clean it, you're actually unknowingly sending venom inside your bloodstream. So best is to just hold your hand below or leg under running water. That could probably just wash off the extra venom which is there on top, and it could end up being a dry bite. Next slide, please. Do's and don'ts. I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm going to give you a few things. The right thing to do is not go very close to a snake to take a picture or try to capture it when you don't know what species it is. If you cannot identify it, leave the snake be in its habitat, call a rescuer, let them deal with the scenario. If what is it? Okay, so let's say you spot a snake in front of you, never turn your back and run, because it's not just you who's scared, the snake is also scared. There are chances that in the flight mode that the snake has opted for its safety, it might run right towards you in your direction, and you might end up stamping it. And what happens when you stamp? You're again crushing the vital parts, so you are going to get bitten. So try not to run, stay behind, watch the snake, call a rescuer, alert the people around you. That'd be the best thing to do. Do not pile up things in your house, around your compounds, things that you don't need today, you will never need them tomorrow. For an example, floor tiles. Generally when we build a house, we'll take these floor tiles, we have a pile of them, we'll keep it. Oh, tomorrow we will need it. Your floor tile is not going to break because you're walking on it. And if it does, it's okay. You can probably get something else from the market. You can figure out, or no, you have to keep it in a place which is not attracting lizards, rats, other things which snakes can go for. So think where you're keeping it. Let not moisture and other things accumulate over there. Keep it at an elevated spot. So these are the things that will avoid snakes from coming into your premises. What else am I missing out? Let's just quickly take a look. Do not wander close. Yeah, certainly do not wander anywhere close to a snake to take pictures and stuff. As I said, if you don't know it, leave it be. Be satisfied with your camera to the best of the megapixel it can take you to from a good distance. Take a picture and say bye bye to it, and that's a good thing. Do not tie a rope or ligature around the bite area. Never cut the wound open, mainly because you don't know which vein is important for your fingers to work. Just imagine you have a dry bite and you have actually cut the bite site, and you end up losing the functionality of your fingers. Wow, what a memory to have. So never do that. Certainly do not waste time running to a quack. Please go to hospitals. Anti-venom is available in most of the hospitals. Again, depending on where you live, please make sure that you are well aware of the hospitals that have anti-venom 24/7 and capable doctors to treat such things around us. Also, India only has polyvenom. Because we can't identify what snake bit us, thankfully, we don't have neurotoxin antivenom, we don't have hemotoxic antivenom. We only have polyvenom, which helps in both cases. Of course, it does leave you with with some issues wherein, let's say a cobra has bitten you, which is neurotoxic, and then you use this polyvenom, which also has hemotoxic antivenom particles in it. It will certainly affect your body in one or the other manner, but there's no other option for it. There's absolutely no other option for it. So we have to live with it. So yeah, some permanent damage will certainly happen. Am I missing out anything? Yeah, always make sure you carry a long stick and lightly tap around the area when you're walking. This is especially when you're trekking. If you're a rock climber, please be careful, because crevices could have snakes. Again, not necessary that crevices will have venomous snakes. It could also be a cat snake which is hiding in this thing. Try to identify snakes when you're going to a particular area. Try and do some homework. Try and understand what kind of snakes are found in the kind of habitat that you're going to step into. That would basically keep you safe. Yeah, next slide, please. I think I've covered most of it in this. Keeping snakes at a distance. Guys, this is very, very important. These days, people are using, I don't know, some weird kind of chemicals without realizing that these chemicals are only going to harm your soil. It's going to kill the soil, the fresh soil, the soil which helps your plants grow, which gives you so much oxygen. You're going to ruin that by putting these chemicals. There is no repellent as such which is proven for snakes. And please remember, we need them around us to remove pests such as frogs, rats, lizards, skinks. We need snakes to help us out. We cannot do it on our own. When we do it, we are going to ruin everything around us to make sure that we are safe. All we need is a little bit of patience. As I said, do not pile up bricks, plants, shrubs. Oh, this is important. People think that, snakes are coming because you have plants in your house. No, they're not coming because you have plants in your house. They are coming because the temperature in your house compound is much better than what it is outside. Because you know what we guys do? When we find an empty site, we take the initiative, we pay from our pockets, or we go and lodge a complaint in the government and make this person clean up his empty site, not realizing there are other things which are living there. There are other things which are dependent on that site, the foliage which is there, right? You clear that up. And then where are these snakes going? They are homeless. You've just removed the roof from their head. What are they going to do? Look around. Oh, I don't have a roof. Let me hide somewhere. The next building. Yeah, I have place. Enter. Under your your staircase, you have everything piled up over there. You have tires which you're never going to use. You have tubes which you're never going to use. You have God knows what all, man. Everything is piled up over there. Perfect habitat for a snake to go and hide. So it comes in. Just leave that damn site be. There are other birds which come. These snakes are after them. There are rats which are, making holes under your foundation of your house. They are weakening your house. Let the snakes take care of that, because no other person can do it. You can't get into a hole. A dog can't get in. A cat can't get in. All these other birds which prey on rats can't get in. Snakes can do it. Let them do it. Just don't clear out everything. Let's next one, please. Next slide. I think we're almost at the end. Myths and facts, we can skip these. Let's come to the questionnaire. I'm sure people will have questions connected to the myths that we have. Guys, I'm open to any questions that you have, please. I don't have much to explain. I'm sure you guys can see the pictorial slides, so you know what are the kind of myths and how to break them. Any questions? I know I've taken a little longer than I was expecting this to go on to. And certainly thank you for all of those who've had the patience to listen to me for 2 long hours. Unfortunately, I don't have a LinkedIn account. I only have a Facebook account and Instagram and YouTube. Thank you, Sanjeevani.
Okay, so thank you so much, Shoaib. Like, it was a wonderful event, and I think it was one of the best events we have had with NatureSci.
Thank you so much. That's certainly an honor. Yeah, some people want to know my Instagram ID. It's called Forest Friend with the number 5. It's all one word, Forest Friend and the number 5. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. A very big thank you to all of those who I personally know for a while. I'm really humbled with thought that people who know snakes much better than me are here today, learning things from me. I hope it was the time was worth it. Perfect. So I don't think we have any more questions. If you really don't have any more questions, we can say goodbye to the session.
Thank you for the insightful session, sir. We have a few questions in the chat box. I'd like to address them.
Yes, please. I'd love to answer them.
Harpreet Singh is saying, so according to various researches and after talking to a renowned herpetologist, I got to know that snake rescues actually kills the snake. It dies very slowly and painfully because of being relocated.
That's a very, very lovely point that you brought out. Yes, what you're saying is absolutely true. But again, there is no particular research that has been done. Nobody has tagged snakes. Nobody is following these snakes to see if they're really dying or surviving. But this is a basic or a general idea. When you relocate a snake, you're taking one snake from one habitat and moving him or her to a new territory, a new place altogether where there are other territorial snakes. Now, the snake that you have moved from this place, if this wins over the other one, then then there is 100% survival chance for this snake which you have just relocated. But if this one is the weaker link in the chain of food, this one becomes food and the other one gets its food. That's how it is. But this is what we can, rescuers can actually do, because until and unless people don't really start living in that let living, there is no other way you'll find a solution to this. You have to relocate snakes, and sometimes because snakes, not everyone wants to live around a cobra, not everyone wants to live around a Russell Viper, right? So you don't have an option but to relocate them. And yes, it is very true. In many cases, many snakes do not survive. So the best thing that I would say to each rescuer is, if you can, and if and only if you can, wherein other humans are not going to be in trouble, then release the snake about 500 meters to about 700 meters from where you have rescued it. But please do tell the person from where you have rescued it that this is what you would like to do. Tell them, stay aware that there are other snakes, and that could help them. If you're not a snake, please educate them. Tell them that it is important for the snake to be around to help them, and many of them do understand. Next question.
Is it possible for a snake to dig a hole?
Not really, but we have seen cases where a banded racer has been seen digging a hole, and then we have seen a couple of sand snakes dig holes in sand dunes. So the answer is yes and no both. But if you're looking at a snake digging a hole like how a rat has dug, I don't think that is possible at all. But maybe to an extent, if the sand is very loose and stuff, then yes, it has been noticed. Not there's no detailed study done on it. We are waiting for people who are interested to do such research in India. It would enlighten everyone, and it would throw more light on the life of snakes. I wish I had taken up herpetology as a subject. I would have probably taken that up as a project for myself. So, yeah, so far this is all we know. That yes, it is to an extent they do, but not like how rats and other animals dig holes.
Okay, sir. Dilip is asking, what is the safer distance to rescue and relocate a snake from the human habitation? How likely is the snake to come back to the original place where he was just rescued?
Snakes are likely to come back to the same place from where you've rescued it, provided you don't make any changes in your habitat or the way of living that you have. You invite more frogs and rats, the snake might probably come back because it's food driven. I mean, we will go looking for
मैं आगे
food.
तो नहीं तो आप फिक्र ना
Yes.
करो आप बिछा दिए बोल देना
We like dosa in one particular hotel, we'll go back there. So if the snake is getting a rat per day over here, it will probably come back here. Of course, they don't eat every day. They might eat just one for 3 days, one for a week and stuff. But it totally depends. Yes, there are chances that it will come back if you release them in about 500, 700 meters away from the rescue location. But there are high chances that they will not come back because they've gone through a lot of stress, and to an extent they remember the kind of stress they would have gone through. So they'll try to stay away from such a place. But again, it's all about food. So yeah, there are chances.
So Chirag is asking, how do I differentiate between a venomous and non-venomous other than the shape of its head?
Shape of the head, I think you can understand most of the vipers. And I would really not say that, that is the right way to go about it to understand which one is venomous and non-venomous. The best way to understand which one is venomous and non-venomous is by understanding snakes a bit more closely. Read about them, see more pictures, get associated with different NGOs who rescue snakes and other urban wildlife. Spend time with them, then you will know which one is which. Because, guys, 30 years of me handling snakes, sometimes I still get confused between a cobra and a rat snake because the head is hidden, tail is hidden, it's just the mid body. I'll have to look at the scales, for which I'll have to probably go a little close, but from a distance, both look the same colors. So yeah, I wouldn't ever say look at the head or look at the tail and identify it. There are easier ways to identify, like I said, rat snake, the patterns, cobras, the spectacle marking and stuff. But what are you going to do when you have a cobra which doesn't have a marking at all? And it's not even doing the telltale hooding sign? It's difficult for you to understand. But if given a chance to me, I would look at the eye and I would see that the pupil is completely black with a small teardrop near the at the bottom of the eye. That will tell me that it's a cobra. And the other way I would say that it is a cobra is, with the head and the rest of the body being parallel in length and size. Sorry, in size, when compared to a rat snake, wherein the head to the neck is thin and then the body just inflates a little and goes tapering down like that towards the tail. So yeah, there are so many other ways, but I would sincerely say spend time with people who are dealing with snakes if you really want to identify them. Look at pictures, check with your friends who are into wildlife. You'll get to know. You can always keep my number and WhatsApp me when you see a snake, but when I say WhatsApp, make sure that the picture is at least slightly clear, then we'll be able to help you out. Yes, Vinita.
What are the albonial snakes, and did you see the albonial snakes and vipers?
I'm sorry, I missed your question. Did you see the arboreal what?
Snakes? And did you see albonial snakes and vipers?
Arboreal snakes in vipers. Yes, you have Malabar pit vipers, which are arboreal. You have bamboo pit vipers, which are arboreal. They are on plants and stuff, but not Russell vipers. Saw scale vipers, sometimes they go on to small bushes and stuff. Sorry, I have some small, my niece and nephew who are playing in the house. So yeah, some vipers are arboreal, not all.
Yeah, sir. Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I'm working in the Department of Zoology as assistant professor in Central University of Jammu, and we are working on developing species identification tool on the basis of non-invasive waste. For example, we are keep handling the species. We already taught the student how to differentiate and rescue many things, but now we are working upon developing tool, and it is AI based. So, sir, it's my request. Can we collaborate, because it is the whatever work we are doing, that is not for us. It is all for the layman. And right now we all know that.
Anything that you feel is important to help with our wildlife, I am game for it. You don't have to think twice. You don't have to ask me.
Sir, actually, this will be a really a collaborative work, and I am always collaborating with people, because right now we are working with the Forest Department of Jammu and Kashmir here and others also. So we are working, for example, we have dissertation students. So as per my expertise in the illegal wildlife trade and all this thing, because dealing with the species identification protocols and for this one, we are working upon developing a species identification tool, though the earlier one is there. But as the technology is changing, when very recently you gave one example that when you also now stick how to differentiate between the cobra and the rat snake when the both the head and tail features are not available. So in that case, that particular technology will be helpful. You just take a photograph from the distance, and at that time what will happen, you have to go very closer to see the snake scale type, but no need to go for take the image too closer. Just take the image. That particular AI based tool will help you to identify the scale very distance, so that the safer distance can be maintained, because the life of snake as on one side, and the life of the rescuer is also needed, because very few rescuers are genuine rescuers.
And that's a very, very good point. That's a very good point. I did miss out. See, generally we say the session will go on to about 1.5 hours, but when we get talking, sometimes it just goes on forever and ever. That's a very good point. Ethical rescues and a snake rescuer's life. Snake rescuer's life is very important because if you as a snake rescuer are safe, you will save another 10 more. Do not blindly put yourself into risky situations, because when you do such a foolish move, end of the day, as I always say, newspapers will only say, this guy, he saved so many snakes, today the snake bit him.
Sir,
No,
can you
it
share
is
me
his
your
message.
email ID so that we can discuss it over this particular issue in
Yes,
detail?
ma'am. Yes, indeed. My name is spelled S-H.
Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. Yes, sir.
S-H.
SH
U-A.
UA.
Y as in Yankee and B for Bravo. Shoaib, and then add the letter Z as in Zulu. Shoaib.
In the chat box, it is possible, sir. Can you give
Yeah,
us it in chat box, sir?
I'll leave a message. I'll do that.
Okay, yes, sure, sir.
That's more easier. Sorry.
Yes, sir. So that we can share the discussions, and because in that condition we are tracing different type of images of different
Right.
ages of the snakes, because we all know these are the biometric parameters. So we will discuss it in late. This thing is in later, not it is a part of this particular talk, but it will be
Absolutely.
very useful for the all laymen.
No, absolutely. It'll help a lot of people. If identification as a thing can be sorted, I think that's like the base for saving most of the snakes.
Yes, sir. It is requirement of the current scenario, sir.
True, true. Thank you, ma'am. That's sincerely an amazing job that you guys are doing. Hats off to you.
No, sir. We are also working for nature, sir. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, sir.
Yes, all of it. Welcome, ma'am. All right, guys. So I think we are, sir, can we track snakes other than finding the shed skin? That is something which only one tribe can do. That is the Irula tribe from Chennai. More information by meeting them. But trust me, they are not going to teach you that. They haven't taught the skill of tracking snakes to Romulus Whitaker, who brought them from just an Irula tribe to the Irula tribe today. They will not share that information, and I always pray to God that they do not share that information with anyone, because I'm sure our snakes will be mishandled. They will be yeah, whatever. I'm sure they won't teach anyone, and let that stay with them. It's not easy to track snakes. No one can do it apart from Irula tribe. That's the only tribe in the entire world who can do it. Hats off to India and the tribe. Alrighty, I think we are done with the questions. Nature's Eye team, I sincerely thank you all for setting this up in such an amazing manner. Is there any way to differentiate males and females? Oh, can we go back to that question? The chances of having a snake which is not from the country. Yes, they are absolutely right about not sharing the knowledge. Yes, they are. It's absolutely right about not sharing the knowledge. There was a question about how to identify a male and female. I read it before also. Guys, honestly speaking, from a rescuer's point of view, I don't need to know which one is a male and which one is a female. So I don't ever do that. But sometimes it's very obvious when you have rescued a snake or when you're holding the snake in your hand, they poop in such a beautiful manner that sometimes you can see their genitals, and the hemipenis is pretty obvious from the cloaca, so it's easier to identify. But from a rescuer's point of view, please help me understand, why do you want to know whether it's a male or a female? If it is just to tell people, oh, I rescued a male cobra, you don't really need to. If it is to say that this is a female cobra, it might have laid eggs, you don't really need to. You just need to say, I've rescued this. I will not penetrate the snake. I will not trouble the snake to check whether it's male or female, and you're just going to go and release it. Your job is done. Musking, yes. Yes, musking. Pythons are, Yeah, you can't. Keep doing good work, and its suggestion train more number of forest department staff and good. Yes, indeed, we are working towards that. We hope someday we can train genuine staff, genuine people. I'm certainly looking for clean hearts to come forward to learn how to rescue snakes in ethical manners. I have tried to train a couple of people, but unfortunately, people have come to learn how to handle a snake, and the very minute they have a snake in their hand, the picture has gone on Facebook, and there are followers and likes and stuff, and then this person who's getting trained is gone from my phone book. So yeah, please do not come forward for such things. Please do not go for such things. Learn to do it with a genuine heart. I'm sure you'll do a lot more than you have ever imagined in your life. Oh, declining species, there are many. Green keelbacks, cat snakes, trinkets, wolves, name it. Bus drive keelbacks. We don't get to see these species at all. These are all grassland snakes. They need a particular kind of habitat. So all these habitat specific snakes are vanishing from Bangalore. They have vanished from Bangalore. Olive keelbacks, you don't get to see them at all. But check out cobras, check out rat snakes, check out our Russell vipers. These are in plenty. Why? Because they are rodent eating snakes. And these are also snakes who prey on each other, cannibalism. So they are thriving. But those who are centered to a particular kind of habitat, thanks to us, we are taking it up. We are making sure that they're going one after the other, or sometimes, a bunch of them at one shot. Yeah. We don't have fresh waters anymore, so we never see an olive. I don't recall. I think the last time I ever saw an olive keelback was somewhere in 2007 or 2008. Such a beautiful snake. Such a beautiful snake. It has a red lining from the neck all the way till the tail on the side. It's an olive green snake with a yellow belly. Wow, but you don't get to see them now. So wow for that also. Sorry, next question, please.
Shoaib, I'm really sorry. I like to interrupt. The thing is, we are already 1 hour more than what the estimated time was. But
All right. Yes.
it after all, it's all for education. It's all for awareness. We are okay with it. But we do have our limitations. So, like, we can give another 10 minutes more, and then we'll have to end the session.
We can take this. If you have any further questions, guys, feel free to WhatsApp me on my number or contact me on Instagram. Just drop a message directly or through Facebook. Forest Friend 5 is on Instagram. My phone number, I think, I'll just tell you, it's 99 00 20 6859. I'm also going to leave a chat with my phone number, so you can reach out in case you have any further questions. And thank you again for everyone for spending their time.
Yeah, and we would like to have another event with you very soon. Similar kind of events, which we reach up to more and more people to educate them, to aware them, because to save anything, we need education. That is most important thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's just round off the night saying, let us all try and stand for what we stand on. Yeah. This is a sentence that I picked up from a close friend of mine from South Africa. He always ends his show saying, stand for what we stand on. It makes a lot of sense. We're standing on Earth, so stand for Earth, Mother Earth. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. I'll be logging off. Have a good day, evening, night. Ta-da.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.